Hi everyone, welcome back to Touch on It show podcast whereby we host and talk about everything regarding life, education, environment, culture, religion, name it all. And today I'm going to be talking about a very, very important topic, which is also very, very crucial and it has a lot of impact in our life. So what is that? We're going to be talking about childhood trauma. Yes, childhood trauma, and not only that, but the impact that it has in our adulthood lives. Stay tuned and let's go deeper into that. So, what is a childhood trauma? A childhood trauma is basically something that happens to a child when they're still growing up that is traumatizing for them. Like something that instilled fear in them when they're growing up. It may be something that they saw or they heard or something that was done to them physically or mentally that affects them until they're adulthood, and it's really hard to handle that unless they see a therapist. So let's go to the causes of, childhood traumas. Before we go to the causes, let's talk about the types of traumas that a child can go through when they are young and that can impact them when they grow older. So we have the physical abuse. Physical abuse is the form of abuse whereby pain was inflicted on them by either beating, or maybe they were being thrown on the floor or items being thrown on them, That's a form of physical abuse that can cause a childhood trauma. The next trauma that I'll talk about is the emotional abuse. This is a very, very serious thing. Emotional abuse do not only cause traumas in childhood, but it can also cause traumas in adulthood. Emotional trauma is very, very critical. And what is this? This is a behavior of undermining a child or anyone's self-worth, It can involve criticizing, belittling, rejection, threats, abandonment that leads to traumas. For example, you grew up whereby where you grew up, nobody used to care about you. People used to call you names or belittle you or bully you, say some hurtful words to you that were really demeaning to your character, And this is the kind of abuse that leads to mental illness, can lead to depression, and you hear by people who have this kind of trauma, they are advised to seek therapical attention. They are supposed to see therapist because it's a very serious condition, because they cannot handle these words that were said to them. These words are stuck in their minds, their head. They can remember them, the tone of the voice that was used to abuse them. Okay, so that is emotional abuse. We have sexual abuse, which is also something that is very, very critical, whereby maybe a child was raped or, physical sexual touch, These people, they grow up and they have this rage in them. They're having anger issues because they're why did that have to happen to me? Why would somebody, want to just abuse me sexually? What did I do to deserve that? They cannot move on until they get answers. And these are the answers that you can never get. Childhood trauma puts you in a position whereby whatever answers you want, you will never have them. And that's why it's disturbing. That's why it's a trauma, because it's something that you'll never heal from. You just need to learn how to cope with it, to learn how to live with it, to learn how to accept yourself no matter what happened to you when you were a child. Embrace your current self, love yourself, Have daily positive affirmations on yourself, because if you cannot control whatever happened to you when you're a child and get it out of your head, it's risky. It can cause mental disorders. It can cause mental illness. It can lead to suicidal thoughts, It's that serious to a point that you need to seek help, okay? The other childhood trauma that I want to talk about is neglect. Neglect can be either intentional or unintentional, okay? Whereby we have our households whereby the parents or the guardians are quite busy. They are occupied with work, so they leave you to, for example, a house help. Or if you're not lucky enough, you don't even get a house help. It's just you and yourself, maybe your siblings, and if you happen to be alone, it's just you and your world. You have to go to school alone. You never get time to talk to your guardians or your parents. You don't have anybody to open up to or cry out to. You feel neglected. You feel alone. So when you grow up, you feel lonely. You're like seeking validation, seeking for emotional support from people. It's not like you are lonely. No, you're not lonely, but people neglected you when you're growing up. And so you grow up with this trauma that everybody around you doesn't like you, they neglect you because they hate you, And that's a traumatic experience that can also lead to mental illness or can lead to suicide. So if you ever feel neglected, tell yourself those positive, sweet words like, you're not alone, you can do it even if you're alone. You're loved, you love yourself, you're amazing. And keep going, because these traumatizes us to an extent that you do not want to live. Because I believe everybody has one or two or more childhood traumas which you experienced, and you recall every now and then, and you feel this rage, you feel this anger, and you're like, why did they do that to me? I don't deserve that, So, neglect. We have this household dysfunction. Household dysfunction is whereby there is like violence, whereby the parents are fighting each other every morning, every night. They're just fighting either physically or they're abusing each other, You wake up to a house full of chaos. You sleep to a house full of chaos, whereby you just have to plug in your headphones to avoid the noise. That is what we call household dysfunction. This can cause a serious trauma. Trust me, trauma from family violence or parental violence, this is like domestic violence, whereby your parents are beating each other every day, or they're insulting each other every day. You live with that. When you grow up, you feel some, like there's emptiness inside your heart. You try to question yourself, like, why did I have to go through all of that or see all of that, You also have community violence. Community violence includes, we have a crime. Maybe you experienced a crime that happened. There was shooting and somebody was shot dead. Or, this kind of things that are really traumatizing. You saw a person being violated physically by police because they couldn't cooperate. Or maybe you see calamities like a fire burning a house, the ground, and people burn inside it, like such things can really traumatize you, and you never forget. These are the scenarios that you never forget. They never get out of your head. It's like they're there to torment you, they're there to torture you, We have another childhood trauma, grief or loss. If, for example, you're growing up and you lose maybe a parent or a guardian or a sibling, you are literally in shock, You cannot take the fact that you've lost somebody very special in your life, and you cannot believe it. For a moment, you're in denial, like, no, I didn't lose them. No, they're still there, or no, they are going to come back. You grow up with trauma, like, you feel like everybody will just leave you and you'll just be there by yourself alone, and it gets traumatizing day in, play out. That's why you need to seek help. Whenever you feel like you're still grieving on a loss, seek help as fast as possible. Okay? So now let's go to the symptoms, or signs that shows you have a childhood trauma. How do you know like you have a childhood trauma? How can you tell like this is a childhood trauma? This is just a bad day that I'm having. I can just move on. Tomorrow I'll be fine. Or this is a childhood trauma that is not going to go away. I need to seek help. Where do you draw the line between a bad day and a childhood trauma that keeps coming in and coming every time, So we have emotional dysregulation. So you wake up, when you slept you're fine, but you wake up, you have mood swings. Nobody wronged you, nothing happened, you just woke up, it's just you and your bed and yourself, and all of a sudden you're having mood swings. The whole day you have mood swings. You're literally fighting with everybody. When everybody asks you why you're angry, you're like, I'm not angry. But you are angry, but you don't know that you're angry. You don't know the reason why you're angry, but you are literally very, very angry. You're agitated, you're grumpy, you're having all sorts of mood swings, and you don't know how to manage stress at all. Any small stress triggers you to level 0. That's a sign of childhood trauma. And in this case, you need to talk to a therapist or find somebody close to you that can actually listen and understand your problems. But the best help to seek is therapeutical help. See a therapist, to solve this problem. Because it never goes away. It never goes away. So the other thing that shows that you have a childhood trauma is flashback and intrusive memories. Like you have flashbacks. Or sometimes you may find yourself dreaming like these bad dreams, like somebody is running after you to beat you. Or somebody is telling you bad words and you're trying to cry. Somebody is trying to beat you and trying to fight back. Or you're having memories of what happened. Or maybe you saw your parents fighting and you keep remembering it. Or you saw somebody being shot around your place where you grew up. You remember that. Or you saw somebody who burned to ashes. You remember that. Or you start imagining things in your head, things that are not realistic. These are signs that you're going through a childhood trauma and that you need help ASAP, okay? Avoidance behavior. This is very, very common, especially to people who are abandoned, people who felt neglected, people who felt like they do not have a space to talk to anybody about their problems. So when you grow up, you don't want to be around anyone. You just want to be in your room. You don't want to be around a crowd or people. You just want to be alone because you feel like when you're out there, it's too much for you to handle, and you feel like nobody understands you. So the best defense mechanism for such a feeling is avoidance. Like you just want to lock yourself in the room. And if you're a parent and you have a teenager who usually behaves like that, they are all of a sudden locking themselves in the room. They don't want to see anybody or talk to anybody. You really need to get to talk to them. They can try to open up. Be there for them. Because at least right now we're in a generation whereby the parents who are them, like millennials, they have the emotional intelligence. Our parents back then, they didn't have emotional intelligence. So they wouldn't even come to ask you why you're crying. If they will find you crying, they will beat the hell out of you to stop crying. Like, why are you crying? You're not supposed to cry. Madam. Crying is not allowed in this house. Whether you hurt or not, that's none of our business. But you will not cry and make noise. That's our parents back then. You were not supposed to express your feelings. It was wrong. So right now in this generation whereby things have opened up, people can sit and talk, people can figure things out. If you have an avoidant teenager or an avoidant friend, it doesn't have to be a child. Anyone who is avoidant, try to talk to them. But if they're not really willing to open up to you, you can just advise them to go to a therapist and get help, because those are signs of childhood traumas. And like I keep saying, They never go away. They stay there with you. They're there to torment you. Okay? We have another sign of traumatic childhood, which is hypervigilance. Okay? Hypervigilance, you're always scanning the environment. Like, you feel unsafe. Like, you feel something is wrong or something is going to happen anytime. You're scared. This is maybe because to physical violence that you experienced when you were a kid. Maybe your mom would throw a shoe to you anytime, any day, any moment. You will do something normal and she'll be like, that's wrong. So you are used to being attacked, So when you grow up, you're hypervigilant. You just want to keep checking around, like maybe somebody's going to hit me. It's normal, but it's not normal. You need to seek attention. That is a sign of traumatic childhood. So difficulty in trusting people. Of course, if you have experienced neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, you cannot trust anyone. These traumas make you so guarded that you feel like everybody is your enemy. Even the people that you're supposed to be trusting, you see them like, no, they will change. They will change. Just like when you have a friend who you really trust so much with all your secrets and they leak them out, the next friend and the next friend and the next friend you're going to have, even in 10 years' time, the first friend who betrayed you will be picturing in all of them. You'll be like, no, even that one betrayed me. So who are you? I don't trust anyone. So that's a symptom of a childhood trauma. You do not trust nobody. How am I trusting humans who traumatized me? We have also low self-esteem. Like I said before in the examples of traumatic experiences, it's like people lower your self-esteem. Maybe they call you names. Maybe, yeah, here you're really dumb. Get out of here. You really don't know how to do this. Oh, you like this. You like this. Oh, such negative comments to a child grows up to a traumatic childhood. Okay, so you find yourself with low self-esteem. You want to shine. You want to open your own YouTube channel and talk to people and have fun and educate people on several things. But you remember somebody told you when you're growing up, you're not beautiful, or the way you speak is not impressing, or you cannot do anything in life. So you remember all of these things and they give you low self-esteem and you're like, no, they were right. I cannot even do it. So you find your dreams crashing. Maybe you were supposed to do something really big, but because of those traumatic experiences, you find yourself stuck in stress and depression. You cannot even move on with life. What to do? To seek medical attention always. That's the best solution. So another thing, relationship problems. If you had a traumatic experience, whether when you're growing up or any time of life, these traumas can come from also relationships. That's another topic that I'm gonna cover later. Traumatic experiences in relationships. So for now, we are focusing on childhood. You find in relationships, you cannot be able to sustain a relationship in a healthy way because you're traumatized. Maybe you saw your parents fighting, hating each other. Now you're in a relationship. You're scared your partner and you will have the same experiences, so you stay away. Or if you're there, you keep fighting and you don't know why you're fighting. You just feel like relationships are meant to fight because that's what you grew up saying. So like if you're not fighting, maybe you're not okay. Or you're scared things will end up same like my guardians or my parents, So you find out the relationship is not really stable. Even with friends, you're scared. Maybe you're going to have a partner. They will also neglect you. Maybe they will abuse you emotionally. They will emotionally neglect you. So you find that your relationships are on a scale of 0 to 1. Like you never go to 10 because you are really traumatized. So we have substance abuse and addiction. That's a sign of a childhood trauma. Okay. Maybe you grew up in a household whereby your parents were drug addicts. So you also started taking drugs. They don't really care if you took or no. And whenever you take drugs, you feel like everything is okay for a moment. I've never taken drugs, sorry, so I do not know how they feel, but I believe they feel high, okay? So you keep taking those drugs because you want to get rid of those memories that you have in your head, but you forget like it's just for a short period of time. Yes, you're gonna take drugs, you'll forget for tonight, and how about tomorrow? How about the day after tomorrow? So the drug abuse, substance, whatever, it's not solution. The solution is to get therapy. That's a sign of traumatic childhood that people carry around here. So we have physical health issues. You're taking drugs, you're not eating well, you're drinking too much alcohol, you're stressing yourself, you're depressed, you lost appetite, you lost weight. Definitely you're gonna get sick. You keep stressing yourself, you keep depressing yourself, you're gonna get mental health issues. So that's a sign of a childhood trauma and an impact. Actually, a negative impact, very negative. So now that we've covered what's childhood trauma, the causes, and the signs, the risks of childhood trauma are straightforward. People who cannot get over it, like people who cannot admit the fact that yes, I was raped, it happened, I need to move on with my life, it was not my fault, it was just like somebody who was evil or somebody who was bitter with life, they came to me, it was a bad day, let me move on, I can start afresh. If you do not accept yourself and move on, that can lead to suicidal. Especially with the ladies, I don't think anyone can handle living with the fact that they were raped. But instead of that, instead of taking your life, your valuable, very important, beautiful life, why don't you go to a therapist? It doesn't hurt. Talk to a therapist, tell them your problems. Don't even go for drugs and alcohol. For me, I usually advise people, if you're going through stress or something difficult in your life, even if you usually drink, stop until you heal. Because that one never solves problems. It creates more problems. When you kill yourself, you're going to create more problems, you know? When you start taking the drugs, the alcohol too much to heal a problem that never goes away, you will be creating more and more problems. So, how can we avoid the childhood traumas? Okay? How can we avoid childhood traumas? It's just basic. Be mindful, whether you're a parent or a friend or a partner to somebody, make sure you treat them right. If you're a parent and you're bringing up your son, your daughter, be mindful. These are kids who are innocent. They do not bear any mistakes that happen to you. If you're bitter with your life, do not pass the bitterness to your children. Always affirm them positively. Why do we have to affirm ourselves every morning? Like when you wake up, like for example, when I wake up every morning, I have to affirm myself. I do affirmations every day. I have to promise myself that nothing is gonna change the beautiful me inside out. Nothing is gonna beat me. Nothing is gonna change me. I'm enough. I'm beautiful. I'm great. If you affirm yourself such positive words, why would you affirm negative to your child? Why would you inflict trauma into your child's life? Something that will impact them for the rest of their lives. Be kind. Be nice. This is very serious. Any parents who are reported to, make their children go through suffering, either emotional, mentally, physically, they're out there for punishment. Because even the government, for example, in some countries, they take this very serious. Like they catch you mistreating your kid, you're in, because they know the negative impacts on that. Okay, so how? If you're an adult and you're having this traumatic experiences, seek therapy, practice mindfulness, build supportive relationships, be in a group of relationships whereby they're gonna help you grow emotionally, mentally, they're gonna support you. They have either such same experience or they have knowledge about it. They're gonna support you and help you on how to go on with life. Engage in self-care. Like I said, every day you wake up, do affirmations, do something that you love. Like, find within yourself what's that you really love doing. Do you love singing? Do you love modeling? Do you love creating content? Something beautiful, something that will be keeping you busy, to avoid rewinding those bad memories that you experienced when you were a kid, Explore creativity expressions, like do sports, go for swimming, go for hiking, go for family gatherings, friends gathering, go for, all of these things that are fun. Go to a beach, have fun, make sure your mind is always occupied. If you're not sleeping, you're doing something else, like recreational things, like maybe you're doing sports or you're in the gym or you're reading. You can even start doing a new language. Keep your mind as occupied as possible, This one helps to reduce those memories, that, all of those things. And for now, that's it. And my advice to people out there is always be mindful. Know that the things that you do out there to people, they have a great impact in their lives. The comments, negative comments that you make to people out there, they have negative impacts. Of course, we have people who are really strong. You're gonna come and tell them, you look ugly. They don't care. They have strong belief in themselves. But at the same time, don't forget you have those people who are weak emotionally. And it's not a bad thing to be emotionally weak. It's actually something beautiful when you can express your emotions to yourself or to anybody. It's so beautiful to open up, by the way. If you're emotionally weak and I come tell you a very negative comment like, why do you look like this? It's gonna kill you. It's gonna finish you off. So let's be mindful of what we tell to people. Okay? And if at all somebody comes and tells you like you're ugly, or why you like this, or why is your skin color like this, trust me, everybody was born, created beautifully. There is no statistics that shows that this is how beauty is compared to this, like this and this person and this person. This is beautiful, this is not beautiful. No, there is no statistics that can prove somebody is more beautiful than the other one. So do not let those comments get into your head. You are beautiful. Why are you beautiful? Why are you handsome if you're a guy? Because there is no other one like you, unless you have a twin. So you are beautiful. You are unique the way you are. And if you have traumas in your life, be it from growing up, childhood, be it from relationships, be it from friendships, you can always open up. Whether you're a girl, a man, a child, always open up. It's always safe to open up. It's not weakness to open up. It's actually strength when you open up, when you talk about it. It shows how strong you are, that you have accepted your problems and you're willing to share them out, because sharing is making it easier off your shoulder. So that's it for today. When you live in your daily life, try to sense those unusual things that may show you that you're having a trauma and fix them as early as possible before they escalate higher. Thank you so much for staying tuned on Touch on It show. Until next time, thank you for watching. For my returning subscribers, for people who have been loyal to this channel, thank you so much. I love you very much. For the new people who joined for the first time, subscribe, like, click on that share button, share with your friends. If you have anything that you want me to talk about, you want me to go deep into research, I'll do that for you, because I know people may not really want to go deep into reading. We're here for you. We create content for you. We serve it to you when it's legit and real and fresh. Thank you. Until next time. Bye.